Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you today about alternative punishments for misdemeanor crimes. It's no secret that the jails in the United States are filling up quite rapidly. It costs a lot of money for city, states, and the country to house inmates and feed them 3 square meals a day. So judges are looking for different alternative forms of punishment. One of those alternatives is shaming. An example of this would be if you're arrested for a DUI, which is driving under the influence, you would have to put a bumper sticker on your car that says, "I drive drunk." There's a researcher and psychologist out there named June Tagney who wrote an article entitled "Condemn the Crime, Not the Person," where she provides another alternative for punishment, which she calls guilt punishment. Um, Her theory is that you have to make a person feel guilty in order to um, get them to change their behavior. So, for example, the person with the DUI, instead of jail time or making them put the bumper sticker on, they would be forced to clean up accident sites to kind of see the ramifications of their decisions and the consequences involved. While she does provide a great argument for an alternative to jail time, there are some flaws in her argument. According to the Law Professors Blog Network, there have been very few studies done on whether community service is effective. Any studies that they have done have proved that younger offenders, it's more effective when it comes to them because they are still maturing, they are still able to change their ways, but older offenders seem to see community service as just a waste of their time. Also, there are no specific guidelines when it comes to community service. You look at celebrities who essentially can write their own community service. Like, for example, Snoop Dogg. He was pulled over for an airport parking violation, and they had found guns and drugs on him. And when he was sentenced, he got to just spend time at his youth football league with his children, with his impoverished kids. Um, that seems more like fun than community service, and it's probably something that he would have been doing anyways. And if you wanted to put money on it, Snoop Dogg probably still does drugs and probably still carries a gun. So community service, it's not really a great option for punishment. Another flaw in Tagney's argument is that a lot of people do community service out of the goodness of their heart. And forcing people who have committed crimes to work alongside those who spend their Saturdays and Sundays doing community service cheapens the work that Good Samaritans do. Um, to compel someone to do that and, you know, to essentially say it's a form of punishment, it it really darkens and dampens the the honorable work that volunteers do. When it comes to punishing misdemeanor crimes, should the question be how do we punish a criminal, or should it be why do they commit the crime in the first place? Tagney used her background in psychology to support the differences between shame and guilt on a person's psyche. What she fails to address is what caused the person to do that in the first place. If you take, for example, the DUI, the person that gets arrested for a DUI, why did they get arrested for a DUI in the first place? Was it a one-time thing, or perhaps are they an alcoholic and they need help? Sentencing them to clean up the side of the road really isn't addressing the problem. Sigmund Freud actually provided a counter-argument to Tagney's theory. And what he says, and I quote, "Persons with overdeveloped superegos feel guilty for no reason and wish to be punished in order to relieve this guilt they are feeling, and committing crimes is a method of obtaining such desired punishment and relieving the guilt. You can't combat guilt with guilt." Um, it wouldn't prove to be effective to guilt someone when they already feel guilty. Um, as I stated before, it's no secret that jails are filling up quickly. And it's a huge expense to taxpayers. Tagney's argument for an alternative way to punish small crime offenders instead of sending them to jail. She attempts to prove that making someone feel guilty for a crime is a better form of punishment than jail time or probation or shaming. But in fact, to make someone feel guilty really shouldn't even factor in the equation of a sort of punishment. It doesn't prove effective. It lessens what a volunteer does, and it does not address the main issue of why the crime was committed in the first place. I thank you for taking the time to listen to this speech, and I hope that your views on alternative punishments have changed. Thank you.